Hello and welcome to another edition of Itineraries, Pahrump, Nevada. Join us as we set out to explore the first trail of the American settlers, a haven for rare native wildlife, and a ranch that's filled with history. Welcome to Pahrump, Nevada on this one-day itinerary from Pahrump, Nevada through the Old Spanish Trail and the Amargosa Valley. Pahrump is located just 60 miles west of Las Vegas, Nevada on Highway 160 and is known as your base camp to adventure. Today's itinerary is 161 miles long, so make sure to pick up some water and snacks. The first leg of our itinerary is the Old Spanish Trail. Head 14 miles east of Pahrump on Highway 160. When you get to this sign, Tecopa 34 miles, make a right turn, and immediately on your left-hand side is a kiosk with a turnout which has some of the history on the Old Spanish Trail. Just 6 miles up the road on the left-hand side, you're going to come to another kiosk. This is Stump Spring. This is a watering hole for the old pioneers, and water was plentiful here during the spring, but come summertime with temperatures well into the hundreds, the water would dry up, and they'd actually have to dig down a couple of feet to find water. The Old Spanish Trail does crisscross Tecopa Road here quite a few times, as you can see here. From the 1830s to the 1850s, this trail was the primary route connecting the Spanish colonies of Santa Fe, New Mexico, to the east, to Los Angeles in the west. It was used by pack trains, pioneers, horse thieves, 49ers, immigrants, and thousands of others, including Kit Carson, John Fremont, and Brigham Young. Let's continue on Tecopa Road, 28 miles to Furnace Creek Road. Now, we're going to be making a left turn here, but first, just past Furnace Creek Road, you'll see this sign, Cynthia's. Located behind Cynthia's is the official Old Spanish Trail host property and headquarters for their Tecopa chapter. You can pick up all the information you'll need on the Old Spanish Trail right here. The next leg of our itinerary is China Ranch Date Farm. Make a left turn onto Furnace Creek Road. Go about a half a mile till you see this sign, and you'll be making a right turn. To get down to the ranch, you will be on a windy dirt road that passes a couple of old mines. Once down to the bottom, there's the Amargosa River with cottonwood and willow trees, and there's even a year-round waterfall. China Ranch is a family-owned farm, all hidden away in some of the most spectacular scenery the desert has to offer. The ranch, it's rich in history. In fact, the Old Spanish Trail is within easy walking distance, as is the historic Tonopah and Tidewater Railroad bed. But no matter what, don't forget to hit the gift shop for some of their delicious date nut bread, muffins, and cookies. Plus, there's plenty of drinks to quench your thirst. Let's head to our next leg of this itinerary, Tecopa Hot Springs. Head back to Old Spanish Trail Highway and make a left turn to Tecopa Hot Springs Road. You will be making a right turn and heading into Tecopa. Tecopa's existence has always flourished because of its abundance of water in an otherwise arid land. Legend has it the Southern Paiute brought their lame and sick to bathe in the mineral hot springs. And today, hundreds of snowbirds winter in Pahrump to enjoy the benefits of these hot springs. There are 3 different hot springs to see while you're visiting Tecopa. There's a small general store in town, and there's an outdoor stage and a bistro for your nighttime entertainment and your dining pleasure. In spring and fall, vast flocks of migratory birds take advantage of the marshes and surrounding canyons, particularly Grimshaw Lake. It's a great birding locale, and it's a protected wetland. Now let's continue through Tecopa Hot Springs to Highway 127, just about 1 mile up the road. We're going to be making a right turn, heading 5 miles into the town of Shoshone. Shoshone is enjoyed by travelers from around the world. It's a lush oasis complete with a warm spring pool, a general store, and a gift shop. You might plan one of your next trips through Shoshone around one of their many events. Death Valley Days is probably their biggest. Go to visitpahrump.com for a full listing of all their events. While you're here in Shoshone, there's a couple of must-sees. First is the Dublin Gulch Caves. This is where the 49ers and the early gold prospectors used to search for gold and also lived. It's on the southern end of Shoshone, right behind the cemetery. The Shoshone Museum and Gift Shop, it's definitely another must-see. It's a great place to learn about the area's fascinating history spanning back to prehistoric times. Also, plan on picking up any travel guides or maps you might need. Now, if you're feeling a little hungry, it's the Crowbar Cafe and Saloon. Pretty good food. Let's head to the next leg of our itinerary. It's 27 miles up the road, heading northbound on State Route 127. Welcome to Death Valley Junction. Now, this is a place where a dream did come true. The year was 1966 when Marta Beckett stumbled upon the remains of this company's headquarters. It was the Pacific Coast Borax Company, complete with a hospital, a bank, and of course, a company hall. Now, Marta was an entertainer, a dancer in New York, and she decided to leave the bright lights of Broadway and open an opera house. You see, Marta was also a painter, and she decided to perform all her shows before her own hand-painted audience. This was 6 years in the making and was truly a labor of love. Marta's remarkable murals cover the entire walls and ceilings of the Opera House. There's a total of 268 murals. For more than 50 years, Marta Beckett has lived and shared her art and dreams with those fortunate enough to find this wonderful and magical place. Now, operas are no longer given, but they do give tours here daily and is definitely a must-see. Also in town is the Amargosa Cafe. They do serve up some mighty fine food. They also have a museum, the Tidewater and Tonopah Railroad Museum. Let's continue north on State Route 127. In 2 miles, you will cross Nevada state line, and this will become State Route 373. This is the Long Street Casino and Restaurant. They have entertainment, slot machines, and a restaurant. Continue 9 miles. We're headed to Ash Meadows National Wildlife Refuge. Look for Spring Meadows Road. You will be making a right turn and heading 5 miles to the Ash Meadows Visitor Center, right there in the blue. There is so much to see here, so stop and pick up a self-guided tour map. Our first stop inside the refuge is Crystal Springs Boardwalk. The water here, it's a Caribbean blue. It's absolutely gorgeous. This spring produces 2,800 gallons of water a minute. It's approximately 15 feet deep, and the water is a consistent 86 degrees. There is wheelchair access here. Okay, let's head a little farther up the road. We're going to Devil's Hole. Devil's Hole is probably one of the most fascinating places here in the park. Now, you cannot get up close and personal. You have to walk in. This is a water-filled cavern and is home to the smallest and rarest pupfish in the world. It's a Devil's Hole pupfish. The depth of this cavern has been measured down to 500 feet, but the bottom has never been found. The most fascinating fact about Devil's Hole is that within minutes of an earthquake somewhere in the world, waves as high as 6 feet tall have occurred right here in Devil's Hole. There is so much more to see and do here at Ash Meadows, but we thought we'd highlight a couple of things for you. Now, make sure you stop at the Visitor Center and get brochures and maps on everything there is to see and do at Ash Meadows. Okay, let's head back to Pahrump, Nevada. Stay on Spring Meadows Road till you get to Ash Meadows Road. It's just a turn in the road. Then continue straight till you get to the paved road. This is Bella Vista Road. Make a left turn, and when you reach Highway 160, you've reached Pahrump. Make a right turn to get to downtown. Pahrump is situated between Las Vegas, Nevada, and California and serves as the RV capital of Nevada. They have 5 major casinos, 4 hotels and motels, and 11 state-of-the-art RV parks and resorts. Pahrump, Nevada, your base camp to adventure. Total miles for this itinerary is 161 and definitely a full day of adventure. We'd like to thank you for joining us on this one-day itinerary from Pahrump, Nevada through the Old Spanish Trail and the Amargosa Valley. And to see more video and get information on what there is to see and do around Pahrump, as well as a full listing of all the hotels and restaurants, go to visitpahrump.com. And we'll see you on your next itinerary in Pahrump, Nevada, your base camp to adventure.